Hello everyone and welcome back to another replay on its current year, this time between myself and Mole Spaghetti. Another replay taken from the 1.9.2 beta, and it is a High Elf versus Lizardmen matchup. I will be playing the High Elves. We'll go through the armies just quickly. So first off for Mole Spaghetti, the biggest trolls in the entire game, Chameleon Skinks, fantastic unit, just for screening, poison. They're really hard to catch, obviously with their speed debuff that they impart. So even the fast cavalry of, Illyrian Reaver is one of the fast cavalry in the game. Just really struggle to actually ever catch them with the combination of the speed debuff and the speed debuff from poison. You spend the whole game chasing them for almost no real benefit in return, and as they aren't shielded, they just work them down. So really, you basically always see them in most Lizardmen armies. Skink's on the outside of the formation. Saurus Warriors with shields in the middle. He's taken Mazdamundi as his lord and has taken, it looks like, Harmonic Convergence, Nets, Apotheosis, as well as obviously most of the abilities that come naturally with him. The Feral Carnosaur and the cohort of Sotek, as well as a Feral Bastillodon, some Cold One Spear Riders, and some Croxigors with their spanking paddles, for some infantry armor piercing potential. So for myself, I've taken a couple of units of Illyrian Reavers. One here that's actually a Silver Helm. So we've got one Illyrian Reaver here. I thought I actually took a few more than that, but that's obviously not the case. Some Silver Helms here with shields on the flank. Good for... I find they deal with Saurus Warriors reasonably well. They have a good charge bonus, and with their anti-infantry, they're obviously effective at taking out front lines, even charging through from behind spears, things like that. So I've got them running around on the flanks. Front line of Rangers, great unit, anti-infantry, some physical resistance. Actually trade fairly well with most other, I'd say, tier 1 or mid-tier infantry. Some armor piercing to help just chunk through the Saurus Warriors in the front line, and just in case I sort of came up against any Temple Guard or anything. And then just some spearmen here, just sort of to protect the rears, to protect the flanks. For our sort of core of mobile threat here, we have the Fireborn, fantastic anti-large cavalry unit, alongside Imric. I've actually found Imric is really, really tough. I didn't really think much of him when he was first released, but I'm actually very much enjoying playing with him. I think he's actually a reasonably viable choice. Obviously, Techless on the Big Bird is almost an auto-including competitive play, but Imric, I reckon, is definitely has his place in the High Elf roster. And also a mage there with life, Earthblight, Awakening of the Wood, and Regrowth. Regrowth is obviously great with the Fireborn. So let's get the battle underway on everyone's least favourite map in the multiplayer map pool, Altar of Ultimate Darkness. So we're both cresting up to the top of the hill, as you can see here. I pull my Illyrian Reavers back almost instantly. I'm going out to the flanks with my Silver Helms to try and get into the rear, so they'll fan out around. Also looking for anything else that might be just hidden out here, any more skinks, that kind of thing. So the skinks will pepper into the front line, get what damage they can against the rangers, but they'll obviously pull back to behind their front line to get protected here. So obviously I want to try and get the rangers coming up against the skink cohorts. They'll take care of them fairly handily. Skink cohorts won't last very long. Again, I'm going to pull these guys around to the rear. Happy just to sit here at the moment with these guys and sort of see just sort of where he's going with Mazdamundi before I commit to him. Again, you can see me here trying to path the Rangers pretty aggressively onto the skink cohort and get the White Lions going into these Saurus Warriors, where they'll deal with them pretty quickly. The Pure Main Company here. I had some leftover money, so I actually ended up upgrading them from originally just from a regular White Lions rather than putting chevrons in. So we see here the first little commitment from one of his large targets. Decided to go and get some damage on here. Probably should have been a bit quicker on the draw with these Silver Helms, getting them into the trying to get them into the Chameleon Skinks here, or the Croxigors. Again, I think this is probably a bit of a waste. I didn't really need to use my Silver Helms over here on these guys. I could have used the Reavers to mop them up and had them come around the flanks here. Again, pressuring their Chameleon Skinks. He's committed in the front line with Mazdamundi. Imric and the Fireborn actually not doing as much damage as I would have liked. I know they're not armor piercing, but you know they have significant stats and obviously anti-large. The Silver Helms in the back here. This is kind of what I mean. Like, you know, they're shielded, but obviously being heavy cavalry with the speed malice from the poison and the Chameleon Skink's ability, they end up just chasing for half the battlefield. So great unit there with the, like I said, the Chameleon Skinks. I do manage to just tie these guys down. I'm kind of happy to sort of sacrifice these guys at this stage. This is, in fact, my Illyrian Reavers that lapped around. I've got these Silver Helms still down here. The front line's going okay for me. I've got to get these Pure Man Company back. I need to mop up these Saurus Warriors, get these guys re-engaged. The Fireborn get netted down along with Imric, allowing the Spear Riders to get a bit of a jump on me. And with Harmonic Convergence, they actually do put a reasonable amount of damage. Mazdamundi even commits to the front row here. He's got the Cohort of Sotek. That'll be a pretty atrocious fight, obviously, with the Rangers. They'll take them out reasonably, but they'll get a few licks in return. The Saurus Warriors here do break off my Rangers. However, the other, where are they? The Pure Man Company. This is a massive marker mistake on my part. They should be in here finishing these guys off now. Instead, they're chasing a unit of shattered Saurus Warriors out here. The Spears and the Rangers here sort of just, you know, this is a little bit of a wash out here. The Spears will be effective, but the Croxigors and the Feral Basilodon will win that eventually. So I decided to leave these guys out here, try and get my Rangers back into the front line. These guys will come back. Again, the Fireborn get netted down. Imric's sort of trying to retreat from behind these Rangers here again. My Mage of Life is currently sitting back here, trying to get through, trying to get some power recharge back in through the items. The Fireborn are off net now, but this is kind of not a great engagement for me. With all the anti-large going on here, but I just have to kind of, I kind of get stuck in that fight, honestly. Imric, as I said, he will buff. He pops the Dragon Horn to give me a bit of a buff around the battlefield. The Silver Helms have come back. You know, they are anti-infantry, but obviously with the armor piercing here, these guys won't. They will take damage in return, and these guys obviously being unbreakable will fight and fight to the death. I do manage to shut down these Chameleon Skinks, thank God, finally, with the Silver Helms. The Spears have done well enough to hold the Croxigors out here for now. I have obviously this big blob here, which is getting a bit concerning. I'm running out of ways to deal with the large threats. You see here that Mazdamundi and the Feral Carnosaur are really healthy, and the Fireborn are actually they're either fleeing or they've been destroyed. There they are. Yeah, they're on there. I mean, they're 4 models. They're pretty much done for. So I have some armor piercing left over in the white lines, but again, they're not going to love fighting all this big stuff. So we get the obligatory bob. The big shield of Nope goes down. I have a lot of buffs going down here on my forces. The Dragon Horde is currently off cooldown. Imric has popped the Star Lance, but as I said before, there's just not enough to deal with the big toad. The Feral Basilodon is still here as well. It's been cold-blooded to stop it from rampaging. The Fireborn, 4 models of them left back in. The Spearmen over here, you know, they've done their job. They've held these guys out of the fight for as long as they can. But he obviously, Multispaghettios, he realises now, yeah, he's not just going to let him to fight. The Tattered remains here. He can pretty much end the fight here with the armor piercing and the damage output. The Cohort of Sotek, they were left out here by the Silver Helms, but they're going to lap back in. And we're more or less playing out time now. As I've said, there's just nothing. I don't have any, outside of Imric, who is an anti-large and does have some armor piercing. You know, I put a regrowth into him, try and keep him fighting. There's nothing here that can take down Mazdamundi. There's nothing here that can really reliably take down the Feral Carnosaur, wherever he's gone. Maybe I did take him down. Interesting. But no, there he is. He's just frenzied. Couldn't see the icon. So, the mage, trying to get the items off to get some Winds of Magic, but I basically have nothing left at this stage. And this will wrap up. I try and sort of come back for rally my forces to come back in for one last attempt to maybe try and goon down Mazdamundi. But yeah, terror outs take hold. The damage dealing potential just isn't there from the rest of my forces, and I suffer a valiant defeat. So onto the army page. Pretty solid army from Mole Spaghetti. Obviously, Mazdamundi's he's always a great pick. I just didn't have enough. I didn't have enough anti-large. Obviously, Spearmen are designed not to really do damage, but just to hold. And the one that was out here, that's probably the one that were 2 kills. That's probably the one that held these guys out. The Croxy Gores, they did their job. I was a little bit sloppy with some of my micro in the front line. Obviously, the Pure Man Company chasing down a broken unit of Saurus Warriors halfway down that hill was significant. Silverhelms, you have to say, did their job. They screened out the Chameleons reasonably well in the end, came back in and got some damage into the front line. The Fireborn, they had enough good targets here to go after, but probably a little bit underwhelming, and partly that's partly my mistake. They got netted twice, I believe, and allowed the Cold One Spear Riders a really advantageous trade there. They've gained 2 chevrons because probably half of those kills are Dragonborn models. But all in all, a really good game, really close game against Mole Spaghetti, who took the points this time. I believe this build is actually from... We were chatting after the game, and I believe this build is actually from Falcon's army guide, which he recently put out. So, well worth a look if you are a Lizard player, or you're interested in improving your Lizardmen army composition, because it certainly worked on this. It was a specifically anti-high elf Lizardmen build, apparently. So worth a look if you are looking to improve your players' lizards against the high elves. Anyway, thanks again for watching. A really great game there against Mole Spaghetti, and we'll see you next time. Take care.